Hello.
Hello, welcome to Tuesdays in the Shop. I'm Andrea.
And I'm Yvette. And we're streaming live from New York City, from Gotham Quilts. And thank you for joining us.
Today we're going to show you some fabric and a project. We were asked, trying to start at the beginning, which is something.
Start at the beginning.
I'm not good at starting at the beginning. I start in the middle and then have to go back to the beginning.
Or she tells me like the second half of the sentence, but not the first half of the sentence. And I'm always like, I need the first half.
Yeah, same. My husband is, same. I do the same to him. So anyway, so we were asked by Free Spirit to be part of their influencer program for new launches. And I believe this was the launch April. I think these lines were launched in April. So eBond, the designer eBond, she's a relatively new designer for Free Spirit, but we have carried her last two collections, Root and Glyphs.
Yeah, and they were so cool.
And they're very cool, very different than a lot of the quilting cotton, prints that we see on the market. So we were really attracted to them. They have a very graphic art. What did you call it? Layered?
Yeah, like painted /
mixed media.
Mosaic. No, not mosaic. What's the word I was looking for? Collage.
Collage. Yes.
So, and that's what she is. She's a mixed media artist who mostly works with paper and paint.
Yes. So transferring that to fabric has had some really interesting results. And the last collection, Root, it sold really well. So I think you guys liked it too. So we were excited. I was excited that this was the group that we were chosen to do.
And they shipped us advanced yardage.
Yes, so they shipped us advanced yardage. We did a video on that. I don't remember when, but we did an unboxing video when we got the package. And so I have been working on a project that uses these fabrics for a couple months now. First, we're going to show you the fabrics, though. So let's.
Do you have a favorite print?
I think this one is my favorite, actually. So this one is called Ravel.
So this is like kind of her main print then.
I would assume.
If it's named the same name as the collection, right?
Yeah, so that one is Ravel in Ocean.
This one is not my favorite because I think it's too primary school.
Yeah, and it does look like crayon marks in multiple colors.
Yeah, like scribbles kind of.
But I like the multicolor aspect to it. I love the blue, the ocean blue.
That's this is a color. Beautiful blue, kind of tealy blue.
Exactly. Yeah. It's got just enough green. It's not actually turquoise.
The selvage is.
Yeah, that's another thing. I really like the selvage. Here's another selvage.
I'm going to make our camera.
And the selvage varies. So this one, I'll hold
this way it'll be in the correct direction.
Yeah.
There you go. So now it says Ravel the right way.
And then these two are from different, so I used these, so I don't have a ton left. But you can see how the color of the selvage changes based on the color of the fabric, of the print. So that was a couple, let's see.
This one's probably a digital print, right?
I believe they are.
Not a screen print?
Yes, yeah. I believe these are digital.
So if you don't know what we're talking about, when you look at the selvage on a fabric, on a quilting cotton, you may remember that usually you see dots, and it's like one dot for each color that's on the print.
Although lately they've started doing shapes, like an acorn or a dinosaur foot.
Right. But if it's screen printed, what those actually are is each screen prints one of those dots. So like a screen will have pink on it, and then another screen will have the yellow on it or whatever, right?
Right.
And as it runs over the fabric to deposit that color, it's actually making that dot on the selvage, right?
Exactly.
So when you look at the selvage on a fabric, if you have something like this, where there's a lot of colors, it's a giveaway that this is digital.
You have a lot more leeway, a lot more options when you're printing digitally. You have your repeat.
Unlimited colors.
Yeah, unlimited colors. Your repeat can be pretty much as big as you want.
Yep.
You can put just about whatever you want on the selvage.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing.
And for screen printing, which is the more traditional, you're limited to the certain number of colors. Because otherwise it gets so expensive to do it, right? Because it takes time for each color to run through.
Yep, is more money.
So just a little aside, when you're looking at selvages, they have a meaning too.
You're also limited by the repeat size.
Yes.
When you're screen printing. So the screen is actually a roller. So whatever the circumference of the roller is your repeat size.
Yep. which comes up a lot when people talk about like what I want a whole repeat of the fabric, right? In general, they're 2/3 of a yard, 24 inches. And there's a whole complication because most of them are printed overseas where they use the metric system instead.
Yeah, it's actually not 24. It's like 25.25
because
or
it's
something.
It's some multiple for a yard.
Yeah.
And that's part of like we have some issues sometimes with very large scale prints where they don't divide evenly into a yard or a half yard cut, and then you end up with things cut off of it. So
yeah, exactly.
Too much information.
Yeah,
let's go back to pretty fast.
We're always going off on tangents.
Hi, Alicia. Welcome.
So yeah, let's. This one I don't know the name, but it should be Ebb.
Oh, Ebb.
Luckily, the name is printed on the selvages. That's
this one's
helpful.
really cool because it's not quite as graphic as some of the other ones. I think this one might be a little bit more usable and more wearable. And I really like the lavender.
Yeah, I like the lavender in that one too. Some of them have been cut up quite a bit, so we'll show you because I had to use them for the
she used them for the sample.
This one, I don't remember what this one is called.
I like this one. I think this one would be a nice dress.
Oh, I think so too. This is a deeper blue, not quite as
more like a navy.
It's closer to a royal navy, whereas this one has a little bit of just a touch of turquoise, but not actually turquoise, I guess I would say. And I don't know what letters these are. I'm guessing this is a different language, letters from a different alphabet.
Or she cut up letters.
That could be too.
So it's like, part of a D or whatever it is.
But these are interesting because she keeps the repeat. So you can tell it's, a block. And then up here and down here and then again over there. So the repeat is very clear.
This is actually a block print originally, and then she digitized it. Because she
I think
does a lot of
these
work like that.
Yeah. So I think she worked out these on paper,
Yeah, probably.
Or with ink or paint or whatever, and then scanned or photographed or whatever.
This is like more of a
stitch.
Common kind of text print, but it's like a scribble. So you really can't read what it says.
On top of itself, sort of.
Yeah, it's like more than one row of writing.
So this one, I think,
not legible on purpose.
It's going to be really usable, I think. That one is no-brainer.
So Lindsay's talking about the blue one. It would be hard to cut for a quilt. And I think that's true. It depends on the quilt design that you're doing and how you cut it, right? So like if you go back to this one, you could use this as a fussy cut, right? And cut the part with the letters. Or you could treat it almost like two prints. So like you use this part to do something and then you use this part to do something else. I think it's harder in the sense that you can't just cut blindly. Like most quilting cottons are made to be able to ruler cut and not worry about the location. Blindly. Well, it depends on what you're doing.
Yes, absolutely depends.
So
but you'll see in a little bit the project that I made because I did use this one in the project. So we'll show you that in a little bit.
Yep, it's still very usable. You just have to use it a little bit different.
Or yes, and it's up to you. If you want to just cut it blind, or if you want a fussy cut.
Which one?
Both are okay.
Haven't we shown yet?
This
one's a really interesting.
So this one
color.
is a more muted, and this one is. I don't know. I don't remember the name of this one. But
I think this one would be a nice dress too.
Oh, I think so too. I think there'd be a lot of nice things.
Good for my coloring.
I don't know if
I think. Yeah, maybe you could pull. I mean, you're wearing a yellow shirt.
It's a very like harvest, pumpkin.
This is kind of in color, right?
Yes,
this kind of like,
and it's very
brownish orange,
kind of weathered and worn. But you can still tell that they're letters. So if you have designers, graphic designers that are into typography, things like that, fonts. I think this whole collection, but especially ones like this, I think could be really interesting.
I also think this one is an awesome quilt back.
It would be.
Because it's just interesting enough. And like my whole thing about quilt backs is I don't like very light colored quilt backs.
Right.
Like I usually won't use a white background fabric for a quilt back because they just show dirt, right?
Yeah.
This would not show any dirt. You could get away with, spilling wine on it. Which maybe has happened to me.
Let's see. So we have a royal blue, makes me think of Israel. Yes.
Oh, that's a good
Hebrew
point.
Letters. Yep. Yeah.
And someone saying in the comments that it looks like Tim Holtz, and Tim Holtz does have this kind of vibe, the kind of like grungy.
Right.
Letters,
that one especially for sure. The rest I don't think have as much of a Tim Holtz vibe, but that one.
This one really does.
That one does.
Yeah. And then Heidi's saying, what about a quilted jacket? A whole cloth
any
quilted
of
jacket,
these I think would make a really good, because it almost looks like they're pieced.
Maybe not this one.
Yeah, maybe not that one, but I think any of the others really, especially, there's one coming up that would be really good.
Which one?
The cheater, the one that we called the cheater.
Oh yeah, let's show that one.
Well, should we? Yeah, why not?
I mean,
where did it go? If I can find it. Oh, here it is.
So this print, we're referring to it as a cheater print, which for those who don't know,
which is not actually what it is.
A cheater print is a quilting fabric or panel, which is printed to look like pieced fabric, so that it looks like you pieced a quilt top, and then you can just stitch around the blocks as a quilting and make a quick quilt.
So this one is actually pieces of all of the other prints.
Right.
And put together in like strips almost. So this one you could certainly...
You could just quilt across those lines and have a really quick quilt.
Call it a day.
So yeah, for that idea of a whole cloth quilted jacket, if you want, this has a very 90s vibe to me, I think, this one.
Well, I think having this pink and green
totally trendy right now.
Definitely
90s and kind of Barbie, but like the urban version of it.
Yeah. Oh, this one would be very Barbie.
Oh yeah.
I have on the back here. We'll show the piece on the back.
This is one of the more subdued, more solid-ish. Oh yeah, that's much easier to see. Which actually is a great
there's that one too. And this one. I can't remember the name of either of these.
I really like this one too.
Yeah, I like that one. That one gets used.
Oh, it's upside down.
That's okay.
And it says unravel, disentangle.
Yeah, it's ravel, unravel, disentangle, tangle, entangle. So it's all words related to ravel, unravel, tangle, which she talks about in the description of this group that I don't remember well enough to actually tell you.
Maybe we should have read that before we started.
I was reading it earlier, but like I said, I don't remember well enough to do it justice, so I'm not going to butcher it.
There's this other print,
this one is cool too.
Which is very blocky too. So I think this one would be a great dress.
Yes.
Or pillows quilted for your couch.
All kinds of stuff, really. Yeah, that was a little bit difficult about using this collection, because putting them all together is a lot. Yeah. But each one individually is awesome. But you'll see in a second. I'm having a hard time
teasing the things you made.
Staying on task. This one is Scribble.
I think this is our super usable one too.
Yeah, and this one reminds me of her previous collections.
Yes, it's the first one, right?
In particular, which was mostly
black and white.
Monotone black and white. So this could fit in with that.
It's odd to me that this one doesn't have any letters, because everything else has letters.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting choice.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they do all have.
But
because even that pink one,
she's an artist. She can make funny choices.
I think even the pink one has some letters or numbers.
Well, you can't really see them. Yeah, they're here, but you can't really see them.
This is another one.
Oh, right. We were talking about this one.
It does also, the name is not on the selvage, so I don't remember this one either. But yeah, so this is another one where you can very easily see the repeat. And these are not words as far as I can tell.
I think they probably are words.
Or it's just, the brush is so bulky that you can't actually read what it says.
One idea I had for this one is to also treat this as a cheater quilt.
Yep.
By just quilting in the negative space and making a grid.
That would look really nice.
So intentional.
Because you could do like multiple lines, do channel stitching,
different color thread.
It would read as a sashing.
Yep. I think this would be a pretty awesome, very simple quilt, or wall hanging maybe.
Let's see. I think.
And where was the one we were talking about? Maybe embroidering on top of.
Oh, I'm not sure which one you meant when you.
Because I think some of these would be really cool to do.
I think there's this one more that we didn't show you yet, which is...
Oh, yeah, we didn't show this one.
Remainder. So I don't have a ton of this one left because I used quite a bit of it. But this one's nice. This pop of green is really nice. It makes a good accent against all these other dark... Oh, we didn't show this one either, actually.
Oh, yeah. And it's cool that this is like a reverse print. So, like, the letters are white and the background is the color.
I was just noticing all the cat hair on the back of that swatch.
Oh, yeah. This, you can tell, has been to Andrea's house because it's covered in cat hair.
Yep, of course.
But I just think it's interesting that she reversed it. On all the other ones,
I like that one a lot.
Letters are the color. And on this one, the letters are white on a background.
Although this one has a little bit of reverse too.
Yeah.
It's kind of a shadow.
Except that those have outlines.
Outline,
this one
yeah.
doesn't.
Not shadow, outline.
This one is so surprising to me too.
And this one's like really sophisticated. Like,
it makes me think of.
And I think the scale is more usable too.
Yeah, that's a good point. It makes me think of the like letterpress letters.
Yes, exactly. Yep. So
this also has a very Tim Holtz, steampunk kind of vibe.
A little bit, yeah.
Partly because of the color.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's all of them. I think
so too. So, the pink one is called Memory.
Lindsay's saying, same with me at my house with the cat hair.
Oh, and this one is called Jumble. And the pink is Memory. I just found the selvage here that has the name on it. Yeah, remainder, saw that one. Okay, I think that's all the selvage.
All right, let's show the project.
Yes, now for the big reveal. So, you might have seen, I think in middle of July, we put up a post asking you for advice. I came up with a couple different projects. One was a table runner and one was a wall hanging, mostly just because I only got small pieces and I couldn't make a whole quilt like I would have liked to do. So I had to keep it on the small side for this part. But I couldn't decide between the wall hanging and the table runner. So we put it out to you guys.
Yeah, we posted it on social media.
Took a vote. We put it on our site. Free Spirit put it on theirs as well. And the table runner was the overwhelming winner. It's not exactly as the same. It's evolved a little bit since then.
That doesn't matter.
But I think for the better.
No one's going to like pull up that original picture and be like, this doesn't match. Yeah.
Well, I think it's for the better anyway. But
yeah,
so so here we'll kind of. So this is
it's kind of hard to show something like this.
It is. It's pretty long. So I think if we, there we go. Oh yeah, we got the whole thing. So we have rectangles, blocks of the print with sashing in between. And then in some cases, there's both sashing in between some of the rectangles. In some cases, it's just the darker sashing. This blue is a shot cotton the color is called Air Force. And this was one of the coordinates that Free Spirit sent to go along with the collection. And I thought it was just so good together.
And I love that it's not a perfect match to any of the other blues.
Exactly, because with these two blues, they're not exact. They're not matches. And then this doesn't quite match either one of them either. It's also a shot cotton. So it has red.
A little bit of a sheen.
It does have a little bit of a sheen and a little bit of iridescence because there's a red thread and a blue thread in there as well. So depending on how the light catches it, you might get a little bit of that.
Kathy beat us to it. She's asking, are we going to sell a kit? Yes, we
are
going to sell a kit. And actually, we already opened up pre-orders for this. I'm calling it a wide.
It is 22 inches wide. So it's wider than your average table runner.
Right. Wide table runner. And what's nice about that is that there's more room to show the print. Right?
Yes, exactly. And so yes, we can give you a little bit closer up view here.
Andrea also designed a variation of this that is a
throw size
quilt.
So it's the same length. So it's 66
kind of layout.
Yeah, it's exactly the same layout, just longer. And I added 2 more fabrics. So the runner uses 7 of the prints and the quilt uses 9. Just because I figured it's bigger, I can squeeze a couple more in.
Right, that makes sense.
Because they're nice prints.
Heidi's asking if we quilted this with batting. We did.
Yes.
So it's quilted very simply. You can kind of see in the back more that there's vertical
sort of
quilting lines.
It's hard to see on the back too, but yeah, so here, so basically along the sashing.
And then it's a burst out.
Right.
It doesn't have a binding.
I didn't want to deal with binding for a runner.
It's not necessary.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not necessary. I liked the clean edge. I didn't want to I wanted the print to go all the way
on the edge.
To the edge. So, and if I had a binding, I would have either had to, have a weird binding or change fabrics, whatnot.
Yep.
Forget it. Just, what do we call? I call it knife edge. I don't know what you.
I usually call it birthing.
Okay.
Right, because you sew around it and turn it inside out. Right?
Yeah. I've always called it knife edge. That's what we called it in the industry, even though it's not sharp like a knife in any way. But
you know what just hit me looking at it? It would be cool to put some embroidery on this.
It would. You could totally embroider in the sashing. Yeah,
yeah,
of course, absolutely. But one of the things I think the reason this worked is because the prints are separated.
Yes, and you can really see them.
Right. So it isn't just a wall of pattern. There are some strips, like this one where it does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different prints in one row, with only one separation. But that's okay if it's only one, a couple of the rows.
Yeah.
In general, some rows only have 2 prints.
And there's a decent amount of the negative space, right?
Right.
It's probably like 50-50 really.
It could be. Right? It could be. Yeah. So that really helps it not just turn into a mush like you said. Yeah.
If you want to know what the process is when we come up with things like this, and we is mostly her, is we use Illustrator. We upload all the images for all the prints, and we start playing around on the screen. We might start with a shape or a block that we want to use.
Or if we have a pattern in mind, I'll, put the pattern into Illustrator and then plug in the prints.
Yeah. And when we worked with this originally, we were using as many of the prints as we could. Mm-hmm. And most of it just looked too
mush. It was overwhelming.
Which is confusing when you have such loud fabrics, that if you put too many loud fabrics together, it just kind of looks like nothing.
Yeah, and you start to not see the individual ones. Right. And I think these are really cool prints.
Exactly.
But if you wanted them all together, you lose them.
Yep.
So this way, having them separated, reducing the number, I think helps you see the individual prints, which are cool.
Oh, look, Kathy already placed her pre-order.
Oh,
Thank you,
nice.
Kathy. You just reminded me I can put the QR code up. If you want to see all the Ravel options that we have, we're taking pre-orders for the fabric in bundles, for the
runner.
Table runner. Why does the word table runner just not come out of my mouth? For the table runner kit,
and calling it the rough draft table runner and the rough draft quilt.
Yep.
Rough draft was one of the words that eBond used in the description a lot. So I took that.
Instagram name is rough draft.
Oh, well, then there you go. That's even better. So if you're looking for it, I'm pretty sure it's the only table runner on our website. But if the
link is also right there.
And there's also the Ravel page on the website that has the bundles and all of the kits.
So what kind of batting did you use? Cotton?
Just regular cotton.
Like warm and natural.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Yeah, I cut it off the roll downstairs.
So yes, warm and natural.
Because I needed really long but skinny.
Yeah, and we have a lot of those edge pieces.
But they're not long enough. So I actually had to cut it. But anyway, that's a different story. The backing I used on this is pieced because, like I said, I didn't have enough.
And you love a pieced back.
I do love a pieced back, which honestly, I think this could be,
like a reversible wall hanging.
Reversible, totally.
I mean,
I'd put that on my table.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't have enough of any one print to make the back, so I pieced it. But in the kit, the backing will be one of these. It'll be this one, the one that I like the best, Ravel in Ocean. So this will be your backing.
Which this one is really cool in a long strip. So
exactly, yeah. So if you get, and again, you can see this sort of repeat. But yeah, so I think just that on a table runner would be cool by itself.
And then it's like two-sided. You get bored of one, you flip it over.
Right. So that's the runner kit. And then this is also a backing option for the quilt kit as well. In the runner, the backing is included in the kit because it's kind of small. So it was easy to just include it. But for the runner, for the throw, it is a separate product.
Which is how we usually do for kits.
And it does say that in the description.
And then an optional backing.
But I just wanted to say it out loud and make sure that was clear to everybody.
I think this came out really good.
Oh, yeah. It would be a cool wall hanger to add pins and photos in dorm rooms. I like that idea. Yeah, and I think this could definitely be, something that a teenager or young adult would be into. Yeah. It's not.
Or might not hate.
Right.
It's like the highest level you can aspire to.
It's not cutesy. It's not, it is.
And the colors are so trendy right now too.
Yep. Trendy. And, I think adults, I don't know if I'd make a baby quilt out of these fabrics.
I personally would not make a baby quilt
out of these fabrics. But I think, school age and up is pretty appropriate for these prints, I think.
Speaking of what we might make with this fabrics, they, as in Free Spirit, they actually offered some mock-ups.
Yeah,
these made into
dresses.
Where's my link? Oh, it's right there. Yeah, so you can see, I mentioned earlier that some of these prints might work nicely for, let me hide the thing so you can see it better. Hold on. There it goes. So this is 3 mock-ups of 3 different dress patterns.
On just a simple
2 different dress patterns. Yeah, so like a really shift dress, not a lot of shape to it, not fitted, but you can see that the repeat and the scale of the print
works really well.
It's pretty cool. The one on the right is this pink, kind of less printy one. So it kind of shows what that looks like in a big piece.
And the one center one is the one we were calling
the cheater one.
This one. So that's what this one looks like.
And is the one on the left the one?
It's that
the
one.
backing
It's
one?
Ocean.
Yeah.
Or Ravel in Ocean.
So this is the one on the left in the picture.
So that's just to give you an idea, what it could look like in a garment. But I really like that quilted coat idea. That's a good idea.
And I think like home deck would be cool.
Oh yeah.
Pillows for your couch or
just about any home deck really.
Yeah, like bags.
Yeah, for sure. Because like we were saying, each print kind of is strong enough to stand on its own. It doesn't need a bunch of other stuff. To make it shine.
Oh, Heidi says she's in love with the center dress. Great. Yeah. And that's with the cheater print that we were talking about for the jacket.
Called Mix.
Yeah,
so we will have yardage available when this ships in November. So we're only taking pre-orders for the kits and the bundles at the moment, but we will have yardage available as well. And this ships in November. So you are going to have to wait a little while.
13?
I don't remember because I didn't even get all of them. There was a couple that they didn't have when they sent, because the mill
15 prints.
They get they sent what they could, but they didn't have everything at the time that they were handing out sample yardage.
Yeah. And I think the way, like, you curated the 15, right? You said there's 7 in this?
Yes.
So it makes sense to me that without using all of them, you got a really cohesive finished project, right?
Yeah, but I think there's also a lot of variation in it.
Yep, exactly.
The black and white script with the mixed collage print, with the smaller scale gray, and the big print,
But if you had tried to put them all in, I don't think it would have been as successful as it came out.
I think you're right.
I think it would have been too many colors and too many scales.
And I tried a couple different, so I was kind of using the green, the bright green as kind of the pop here. I tried it with the pink, I tried it with the orange, which worked fine, but this one I thought the green worked better.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more sophisticated.
The one I didn't get was this one, or one of the ones. So this pink one.
Oh, right. I really like that pink.
I know, I really liked that too. So that pink one is basically this.
Right. It's just another color.
But I think the scale is smaller and in hot pink.
Yep. This is such a good pink.
Yeah, so that would have made a really good accent, but I didn't have that one. So, but I think the green works really well too.
We could always make another one.
Also, this, there's a lot of men that don't like pink and maybe don't want pink on their tabletop or their media center. But this
still has a tiny bit of pink.
It does still have a tiny bit for sure. And, too bad if that offends you.
Agreed.
But I did think the green was a little bit more friendly to everyone.
It's also lighter because most of the other ones are pretty dark or medium. And this, there aren't that many lights in this group.
Exactly. Yeah. So it did brighten it up a little, lighten it up a little, which I think was good. It is very blue, but not in a bad way, I don't think.
I know. Who doesn't like blue?
Blue is definitely the top seller here.
Yeah.
So I think
it's also the one we have the most of.
Well, yes. So I think it's fairly general. The blue seems to work.
So this fabric arrives in stores in November, and we're taking pre-orders now. I'll put the QR code back on the screen so you can scan it in and see what we have available, and it will ship it to you as soon as it comes in. Free Spirit is, or actually almost all our vendors are now caught up.
Yes.
For a long time, there was shipping delays related to all kinds of weird pandemic problems.
So many things were going wrong.
Everything was in different stages of being incorrect. But now fabric is pretty much
stuck in the Panama Canal there for a while. That was a problem. But yeah, it's like mostly
some of our vendors lost entire cargoes in in the last 3 years. So
Yeah.
things have been weird for 3 years.
Yes.
And now it seems, knock on wood, that stuff is actually shipping when it's supposed to ship, which, pre-pandemic, it always shipped when it was supposed to ship. And then for the last 3 years, it's been a guessing game.
Yes, but we're mostly back to normal now.
Yep. So this is arriving in November, and we will turn it right around and ship it right back out to you.
I can't wait to see what everybody else makes. Oh, the other one we thought of, the rotation quilt.
Oh, right.
That I think would be a really good one for this pattern as well, because there is kind of each print gets its own sort of pinwheel, separated by a solid from the other. So I think that could be a good pattern for this.
So that's this quilt pattern. This is by Jen, our friend Jen Strouser.
I did try this, like Yvette was saying. I put several different patterns into Illustrator and plugged in the prints, and there were quite a few that just didn't work.
Yeah, it just looks like nothing. It's too much.
You lost the quilt pattern, you lost the pattern of the prints. So it does need something with negative space, breaking it up.
Yeah, I agree. So we might try out for that rotation pattern. We might try kitting that too.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get the fabric in, we can really see it in real life. Because as much as we do things digitally, there's no comparison to actually having it and seeing the scale and seeing how it works together.
Right. When you can actually put them together.
So if you have any questions about Ravel, please leave them in the comments, or you can always send us an email. It's info@gothamquilts.com. And that's basically all we wanted to tell you about Ravel for today.
Yeah, I think so. And then we just had some housekeeping.
Yes. What did we have on our list for housekeeping?
Bernina Service Day is coming up next Saturday. Can you
believe it's August 1st? Like, how is that possible? But since it's the beginning of the month, that means it's almost time for the next service day. Our Bernina tech is in the store the second Saturday of the month. So that means you need to drop your machine off by the Friday before the second Saturday.
Right.
If you wanted to get it looked at on Saturday.
For that month.
And
there was something else we said we needed to mention. And
yes, Thread Talks is the other one.
Thread Talks.
So I'm going to put that on the screen.
So those of you that don't know, we're launching a new virtual lecture series. Yeah. And the first one is tomorrow night with Thomas Knauer.
We're launching tomorrow. Woo!
And I'm really excited.
Me too.
I think it's going to be really good.
And we're not sold out. So if you want to join us, you can scan the QR code right there. It's actually going to take you to the Thread Talk list on our website. So we have 12 Thread Talks already listed for the next 12 months. And you can sign up for each one individually. If there's only a couple that you're interested in, they're $25 each. And it's all virtual. You just log in from home, wear your pajamas. You won't be on camera.
Yep.
And what was it? Oh, and real quick reminder that these are not recorded. You have to attend them live. They're an hour long. Most people are going to talk for 45 minutes, and then it's going to be 15 minutes at the end for questions. It's 8 o'clock on the first Wednesday of every month.
Eastern.
In New York time.
Yes.
Right, Eastern time. So you can look at your calendar and see if that works for you, and just come every month. And if you want to go to multiple, you might consider joining Club Gotham, which is essentially our Amazon Prime equivalent, which you join for a full year is $125. And one of the benefits of it is you get access to all the Thread Talks without having to pay for them. You also get a 10% discount on fabric and bundles and a couple other goodies. If you go to the website, there's a link there. So if you scan the QR code, it'll take you to all the talks that are on our website, and it also has a link to Club Gotham.
I think that was it. I think it was those two.
Service, Thread Talks.
Thread Talks.
Yes, I think that was it.
The cutoff for Stash Society is coming up on the 5th.
Because it's a new month. Yep.
So if you wanted to get the August, I was about to say July, the August Stash, which is...
Yeah, what is the theme for
urban?
Urban. That's so perfect for this.
Yes, it actually, I was going to mention that. This does have a very urban feel to me, kind of graffiti-like.
Yeah, totally.
We won't have this fabric in time to include it.
It's not going to be in there.
But if we did, it would be a good match. But we're going to have some good stuff. So if you're interested in that, make sure you sign up by the 5th. Those of you that are already signed up will get it.
Yep. That might be it.
I think that is it.
So let us know if you have any questions, leave a comment. Even if you're not watching live, if you want to leave a comment afterwards, we do reply to everybody. And if you want to reach us directly, you could just send us an email. It's info@gothamquilts.com. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
We'll be back next week. Have a good night.